That's
Just
so
for you.
sweet.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I was so late on like getting the outline and everything today. I don't know what's going on. I feel really like chill for no reason, and it's weird. And I'm wondering if this is how I'm always going to be, because I'm kind of like through going to the doctors and like figuring out more and more about my blood pressure. I'm learning what might actually be wrong. Like they think it
Hey.
might be something wrong with my adrenal glands, and so now I'm gonna have to see like a kidney doctor to figure out that. But if if it is what I think it is, there's like a surgery that they can fix it, and then like I'll stop producing so much cortisol and my blood pressure won't be as high and I'll have like potassium regularly now. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be a whole different person. Like I'm just going to be zenned out all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, probably. You'll never have to eat a banana again.
Well, that's for sure. And I eat a lot of bananas.
Yeah, me too.
I really, I'm like, I don't know. But I guess I'll still just eat them for fun.
Well, so you won't change, like at all. The
No,
banana
it's,
thing was really the main upside.
yeah, that's my main, like, personality trait too, is
Banana, yeah.
eats bananas. I'm basically a minion.
Oh my God, me too, because they're so good though.
They are so
And it's
good.
such a low commitment. Like so many
Yeah.
things you can eat. It's there's so many steps between you and actually eating that thing. But with a banana, you peel it, you eat it, you've got the rest of your life to look forward to. It's great.
Yeah. You don't feel bad about creating garbage. It's like
Yeah.
it's just a banana peel and you it's fresh, it's filling, it's good. Do you like your
Yeah.
bananas like on the greener side, on the yellower side, on the brown side? What do you like them?
I like them like the day before they're too old to eat ever again. That's when I prefer to eat a banana. I think they don't taste good if they're not like really ripe.
Hmm. I like them I like them green.
God,
I
it's always something with you. I swear to God. That's
don't do it.
weird.
I don't do it to upset you, I promise. It's just
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
know.
about that. I don't
I lo-
know.
I kind of like it, like leaves this like film on your mouth a little bit, and it's like kind of
Yeah,
sour, and yeah, it tastes good. I like that.
those are all gross things that you're describing.
I don't know. I think it's good. I think everything I said is right and good.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah. Well, you want to introduce the podcast?
Yeah. Welcome to Low Culture Boy. Oh, they can see us this time, can't they? I
Hmm.
should be making cooler faces and doing finger guns. And welcome
Oh,
to Low Culture Boil, the trash podcast about trash culture. I'm your host, Rax King.
and I'm your host, Amber Rollo. And today we are talking about the Academy Awards or the Oscars, which I definitely didn't think were different things at one point in my life.
I think I did too. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think I was not that bright as a child and was very susceptible to thinking they were two different things and other mistakes of that nature.
Why would you name them two different things? You don't need two
Yeah.
names for it. That's like also like when I was a kid, I thought like guys named Bob and guys named Robert were different people.
Yeah, I thought my dad had two different first names because his first name was Robert
Aw,
and he went by Bob.
I really like the name Robert.
Thank you.
I
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
accept that compliment on his behalf.
I do. I just like it. It has so many different ways of
Yeah,
being a name. I'm so
I
jealous
agree.
of it because Amber is just Amber. No, no, like,
Yeah.
yeah, no
Yeah, there's
shorteners for that.
nothing. You have
No,
nothing.
I have nothing.
It's a
I
cool
mean,
name, but it's just the one name. Robert is just full of possibilities.
mhm. And the Academy Awards can also be called the Oscars.
Why
That's
are they also called the Oscars? Is a guy named Oscar involved?
no.
No.
When they were making the awards, when they were making the little gold statue guy, one of the women who worked for the Academy Awards, for the Academy, she was like the secretary of something. at the I don't know, early on when they were first designing it. She said, "That looks like my Uncle Oscar." And that's why they're called that. Yeah.
You fucking kidding me? That's it?
That's it.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. I genuinely thought, okay, in my head, it's actually much more stupid because MGM, I knew,
Mhm.
was involved in some capacity in inventing the Academy Awards. And I knew that one of the M's in MGM was Meyer. And
Mhm.
then I thought, Oscar Meyer was the Meyer and also made bologna. Like I kind of figured it was the same as how the Michelin Man does the restaurant awards and also makes tires. I was all turned around. But the
Okay.
real explanation is not less stupid, I don't think.
I don't think so, but that is very funny. And
It's pretty stupid what I came up
now
with,
now
yeah.
I wonder if Louis B. Meyer, who was like at the head of MGM when the Academy Awards were started, I wonder if he is related to Oscar Mayer.
I mean, he is my
He's
belief
got to
now.
be. He's got to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, it's got to I can't have been wrong because that's not really something that happens, so it's
No.
got to just be something I hadn't thought of yet.
No. Well, yes. So we are talking about the Academy Awards today, which is why we are on camera and why we look so glamorous.
I do. Yeah.
And I do have to say, you look beautiful tonight, Rax. You
Thank
look gorgeous. I
you.
love the pearls, and the makeup and everything. Looks great.
Thank you. The pearls I only have because I got them for my wedding.
Hell
So
yes.
you'll see them again. And also, this little fake diamond choker is also for my wedding.
Nice.
And then the shawl is by Urban Outfitters circa my senior year of college.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
was going through a bit of a Stevie Nicks phase, and now I mostly this is one of those garments that it just comes with me from apartment to apartment, and I never have any. Yeah, yeah,
I have the
very
same. I
similar.
also have a shawl.
Yeah, very similar concept. You never want to wear a shawl. Like if I'm going to wear a shawl, I'm going to wear a jacket or a sweater. So
Yeah,
I just kind of schlep it around, and sometimes I try and put it up on the wall just so it's out of my way. And that's my outfit for this afternoon.
I love it. I am wearing a old costume jewelry from when I was a kid that my sister recently gave me. It's got like
Nice.
sparkly little roses on it, and I'm wearing a like it looks like I'm naked, but I'm wearing a lacy dress.
Oh, it's
That's
gorgeous. I love it.
Isn't it pretty? I got it for $40 at a thrift store, and there was a price tag on it that said $254. So,
Wow.
booyah! Yeah.
I love when you get something at a thrift store and it still has the price tag from wherever it originally came from. That really makes me feel good about myself every time.
Me too. It makes me feel good. I'm like, oh, I got a real deal. Like I've
Yeah,
bought dresses for way less than $40 at thrift stores, but because of the price difference, it's like,
right,
wow, this is big savings. As
right, right.
though, but which is silly because it's not big savings for me because I was never going to spend $254 on a dress. I
And you
didn't
probably
need this
didn't need
dress.
it, did you? Yeah.
No.
It's not like there was an occasion and you like managed to get a great deal for the occasion. You kind of fucked yourself and then but in a way where it's not that bad.
I did buy it for a wedding, but I also got another dress, and the other dress worked better. And yeah, my shawl situation is usually for when I'm wearing a dress that I'm going to a formalish event, and I'm worried that my dress is a little bit too slutty, so I
Slutty,
wear a
yeah.
shawl. That's
That's
what a
the
shawl is
only
for.
reason you'd ever wear a damn shawl. I only wear shawls at weddings, and I
Hmm.
think I wore this one at one of my readings once because it's good for like a poetry reading
Yeah,
situation, and it's good for a wedding where you don't want to just be wearing like your winter coat.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't like, especially at places where there's like a coat check or something. They're gonna like, what are you gonna do? Check your one way of covering yourself up, and then
Right.
what if there's a lecherous uncle or something?
Yeah, or a gust of wind. You can't really predict every gust.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love what you're wearing. Were you guys in my house when I was younger? We made the Oscars kind of a big deal, especially at my aunt and uncle's house. They like made it a thing. They printed out the categories and everything, and we would like write next to them who what we had watched and who we thought were going to win. And then sometimes they would even like get a red carpet to put out outside the front door. It
Aw,
was very cute.
that's
It
fun.
was
That
like a
all
whole to
sounds
do.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do any of that shit. We were not an Oscars family. We didn't watch any of the big award shows. I would like hear the highlights the next day at school.
Oh yeah. Yes, that makes sense. Matt would prepare flashcards when he would watch the Oscars when he was a kid, and then he would bring them to school the next day, in case if anybody wanted to know who won.
Oh my god, what a dorky thing to do. I love it.
It's so cute and so dorky. Yeah.
So cute. Yeah, that's very like I can see Matt doing that for a lot of different news events.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder what other events he brought flashcards to school for.
9/11. I am betting you $100 right now that he did it for 9/11.
I think he was too old at that point,
Oh shit, that's
unfortunately.
right. He is
Yeah.
older than us.
Yeah.
He's like
But
70 or whatever.
yeah, he's an old man.
Yeah, 70 is right.
Yeah, about 70. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, nice. Yeah, I, I don't. I think we talked about it the next day at school, but not that much. But I haven't been
Yeah.
watching all that much recently. I think I only watched this year because there was the slap last year, and
Yes.
I was at a comedy show. I was on stage during the slap, and like suddenly people stopped paying attention to my set and they
Ah,
stopped and like people were looking at their phones and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
dude, you
And
got upstaged by a once in a lifetime Will Smith outburst. Yeah, that
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. And that show ended up being like a shit show too. Like the owner of the place like got mad at the producer and made them leave halfway through the show.
Why?
I don't know. He's a drunk. He just got angry and said not enough drinks were being sold. But there's a real simple solution to that. You just ask the host to get on stage and be like, hey, can people buy drinks? Or like, we
Yeah,
really, definitely support the bar. Or like, we're
yeah.
going to take a 5-minute break so everybody can get their drinks if they want.
Yeah, if
Um,
they all leave, they're not going to buy drinks either.
yeah, he's an
So,
idiot.
yeah.
But yeah, but it was nothing compared to the Will Smith slap. And I think that's why everyone was watching this year because they were like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And like, not a slap. Nothing that big
Yeah.
happened.
My suggestion actually for the Oscars was cuz Will Smith is like banned, right, for 10 years or
Yeah.
something. I think they should go the other way. I think that not only should he have been in attendance, but there should have been like a randomized chance that at any moment he could have descended on the person on the stage and just smacked the shit out of him. I think that there should have been more of a risk of that happening because I think that would have been a lot more fun. It's not
Yes.
fun if there's no chance that anyone's going to get slapped by Will Smith. Like now that I know that that's a possibility, I just want it to happen more.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should incorporate it. I know it's not canon, but I think that it should be from now
Yeah.
on. And yeah, it should specifically be Will Smith because
Yeah.
it's funny to me.
It's just so much funnier when it's Will Smith. I'm with you there. I think that the Oscars really got it wrong when they responded to that by banning him
Absolutely.
because the worst part of the Oscars is how unslapped all those pompous fucking people are. Not one
Right?
slap in like
Right?
most of the history of the Oscars, except one time, and everyone acts like he did fucking 9/11. I think I'm gonna maybe
Yeah.
mention 9/11 a bunch more times. I'm not sure why. It just keeps coming up organically.
9/11, the Academy Awards, they go together hand in
They go
hand.
together
Everybody knows
perfectly.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, two great tastes that taste great together.
But yeah, it's just like I didn't watch last night because I was fairly confident that nobody was going to get slapped. They were going to be on red alert for it this year. That's no fun for me.
And especially when like they have movies out, like they had up for a couple of awards, Triangle of Sadness, which
Right.
is about like rich assholes.
Mm.
There were a few movies this year that were about rich assholes. The Glass Onion was also up for a couple awards about rich assholes. The Menu wasn't up for awards, although I think it should have been, honestly, because I
Yeah.
liked it better than The Glass Onion, which didn't
I
like.
didn't like Glass Onion all that much. I remember thinking it was fun as I was watching it, but if I couldn't tell you anything about it. I don't remember any details.
There
It was
wasn't a
so
plot.
like,
That's why.
yeah,
It was so
yeah.
weird. It
The
was
first
just,
one, there was so much plot. It was like
yeah,
fun to try and follow the plot. And this time it was like a bunch of jokes about Twitter, which is
yeah,
fun for me as a
yeah.
Twitter user, but like not that good of a movie, really.
More of a sketch, more of
Yeah.
a sketch comedy
Yeah.
situation.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, I would think that it would be really fun in that sort of situation when that's sort of a theme that's coming up a lot to have more of them slapped.
Right. By Will Smith.
Yes. Uh, so Matt went to a screening of the Triangle of Sadness, and apparently after the screening, there were like free drinks and past apps, um,
Huh.
like like crab cakes and stuff.
For
and
that
I was like,
movie?
that's isn't that? Don't you guys feel weird having past apps after a movie about like how bad rich people are?
I mean, there's that, and there's also the fact that that movie has a full, like, half-hour sequence
Of
of people
barfing,
vomiting up basically
seafood.
crab cakes. Yeah,
Yes.
seafood. Really rich seafood, the likes of
Yeah.
which then appeared at that same screening. I wouldn't want to touch seafood. I didn't want to eat
No.
for like 4 days after seeing that movie. I don't like
Yeah.
seeing vomit in movies. I think we can stop doing that. That's my big prescription for the cinema industry.
It should be more of an off-screen thing. I do
Mm,
agree. Like I think that horror is scarier when it's just off screen, and I think that
hmm.
vomiting is like more potent when it's just off screen. I just want to like see the caption on the screen of like splatter, or
Yeah.
like squelch or
Wretches.
yeah,
Yeah.
wretches.
I
Yeah.
like seeing wretches. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
wretches is a really good one. Well, so you didn't watch last night. Did you, by any chance, get to see any of the fashion or anything that was happening?
I did see some gowns. I saw
Hmm.
that catastrophic piss-colored carpet. What the fuck was that about?
Yes, the champagne carpet. For some reason, they changed the color of the carpet this year. It's been red since 1961. The color is called Academy Red. Like they have
Yeah.
a specific color. It is ridiculous. And for some reason, they just changed it this year. One of the
Do we
reasons they
know
gave,
why? Oh, you're gonna
um,
tell me. Okay.
yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna believe what they say though.
they gave a few different reasons. They were like, well, like different award ceremonies are doing different colors all over the place now, and like, so what? You guys have a color, stick with it. What are you doing? But
Yeah.
they said one of the reasons was that it didn't clash with the orange tent that they had up to protect people from sun and possible rain, but like change the tent color.
Don't get an orange fucking tent. That color doesn't go with most other colors. Like that's on
Yeah.
you guys.
What? Was an orange tent the only tent available?
You're the fucking Academy Awards. You can get any color tent made.
You
Tent
could
makers across the nation will be jumping at the chance to make you a beautiful custom tent in any color of your choosing. It did not have to be orange.
they and then they were like, okay, well, orange. Then we want like a champagne color carpet to evoke sunset, or like sipping champagne on the beach.
It's going to
It's
evoke
just
piss.
yeah, it evoked piss. I hated it. I hated it
Yeah.
very much. So many people were wearing like cream or like light gold or white dresses, and they just looked bad. Like
Yeah, they did. Everyone
Michelle,
looked washed out.
yeah, they looked washed
All
out.
these beautiful people, the most beautiful people that this country has to offer on the most glamorous night of the year, and they all looked like cum stains in a piss pot. It was gross as fuck.
It was so gross. It looked and it wasn't even like champagne. It didn't have like a sparkle to it. They kept on calling it a
Right.
champagne carpet, but it didn't have a sparkle to it. It was beige. It
It was
was
just office colored. It was the
yeah.
kind of carpet that's in like a second rate, internist's office. That's where you see that carpet. Fucking
Yes.
disaster.
I thought maybe they were like trying to make up for the awards being less Caucasian this year. I was like, oh, they're making the carpet white. Because the
Yeah.
carpet was like racist Band-Aid colored, I would
Yeah.
say. It
It was
was,
kind of my color. It was like the
yeah,
color of me that
yes,
I am. And that's
yeah.
not what I tune into the Oscars to see, man. I don't tune in to see like a sallow floor.
There, yeah. Michelle Yeoh wore like a white fringed Dior dress. Michelle Williams wore a white Chanel dress. Florence Pugh wore this like dress that looked kind of like a comforter, but I
Right.
I kind of liked it on her. Jamie Lee Curtis wore uh like a sparkle and crystal and sequin embellished Dolce and Gabbana
Right,
gown.
right.
It was beautiful, but on
It
this
would have been.
carpet, it
Yeah.
looked stupid. And like they
Yeah.
say that they talk to the publicists and they tell the publicists ahead of time what was happening. But I was like reading up on this, and they only ordered the carpet. They like told the place that they ordered the carpet from every year that they were going with champagne 45 days before the event. So um how if they just decided champagne 45 days before the event, how soon did they tell the publicist? Because people choose their dresses a lot earlier than that. You need to get them like
Right.
altered. You need to like figure out what you're going to wear, who you're going to wear, why. It was just, yeah. And then the carpet got dirty. Like,
Yeah, because there's fucking shoes walking all over it. That's another advantage of the red.
yeah, the deep red like hides things.
Yeah.
Why? If you're gonna go for a different color, go for like brown. Although that's probably not fun
It's a
either.
shit
But
color. Yeah.
yeah.
Shit rather than piss. Yeah, I like where your head's at. No, I'm with you. I think that if I can get a little real color-wise,
Mm-hmm.
Oscars got a lot of white people. White
Mm-hmm.
people love to wear white because otherwise they look extra white. If a white person wears white, for example, myself, they look less ghostly. They
It
look
shows
nice
some
and
color.
tan.
It
Yeah.
pops out some color. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you end up with your piss colored carpet situation with a lot of white people wearing white and cream and such, just looking like pus color. It's gross. It's gross for me. It's gross for everyone who has to watch it. I do really enjoy that they did that, if only because it gave you the opportunity to fall down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out what could have possibly possessed them, because you might be the only person more grossed out by it than I am.
I was happy to read in like looking this all up. I was happy to read that the carpet does not just like go in a dumpster afterwards. They
I
do
guess that's
recycle the
good.
carpet.
Who uses it? Who's like, yes, let me get that used Oscar carpet?
Well, because it's like a light colored carpet, they'll probably use it as like padding underneath another carpet in the future.
Wow.
Yeah, it's made out of
That's
recycled materials and then it'll be like recycled into something else. But yeah. Um, Speaking of like recycling and sustainability, there was a lot of that on the champagne carpet. I fucking hate
I
saying
keep
that.
wanting to say red carpet. That's what you're
Yeah,
supposed to say. I think we should just call it a red carpet. I think
it
that
it's
it's
essentially
stupid
red
that it's
carpet.
not. It's a red
Yeah.
carpet.
So that was like a big thing is like women wearing vintage dresses and stuff. But Zoe Saldana was wearing this dress that was beautiful. It was made for her. It was slow fashion. And then she was like, she explained her dress, and then she was like, and I'm wearing this vintage Cartier necklace for sustainable because I'm about being sustainable. And I was
Oh,
like,
God almighty. These people are so out of touch with anything real.
what? Yeah, I always wear my vintage Cartier when I'm trying to be sustainable.
Like being all self-congratulatory, like it makes a difference that it wasn't new Cartier. Who fucking cares? It's like a $40,000 necklace you were wearing either way.
Yeah. I mean, I like that there is this newly ignited conversation around how fast fashion is
Sure.
bad, I guess, but like I don't like how the prices in my thrift stores have gone up. Don't
Yeah.
love that. And sometimes fast fashion is cheap fashion, so it kind of villainizes people who can't afford slower. fashion. And that's poor people. So that's fucked up a little bit.
I mean, to my mind, it's like none of these people were going to be wearing fast fashion anything anyway. It's not like Zoe
No,
Saldana was going to be wearing Sheen if she didn't go with the vintage Cartier. Like,
exactly.
it's a really stupid way into a conversation that, like, if they're really going to have that conversation, that's not the way to do it by getting on the fucking red carpet and being like, congratulate me, I'm wearing Cartier that's 60 years old instead of came
Yeah.
out last week.
Yeah. It's still not accessible for most people. So what does it matter?
Right.
Um, yeah. But Kate Blanchett wore vintage. Vanessa Hudgens wore vintage. Yeah, it was a thing that was happening. I will say, if you guys are in the LA area and you want some like cheaper thrift store fashion, Jet Rag still has its dollar sale every Sunday. You should go. They have piles of clothes outside Jet
Hell
Rag.
yeah.
It's really fucking fun. I find good stuff there all the time, and everything's a dollar.
I remember there was a trend for a while when I was like a teenager of dollar a pound vintage
Oh
places.
yeah,
You'd go
yeah,
and they'd have these like giant wagons full of just dog shit garbage, not sorted by
yeah.
size or color or
Mm-mm,
anything.
mm-mm.
And you could fill up your little shopping basket and they would charge you for clothes by the pound. It was fun, man. It was like a project to go to
Yeah,
the dollar a pound and try and find something good. I don't think I ever found anything that was actually good, but you feel like it's good. If you find something that's like at least in your size, you get
yeah,
excited and you feel like you've like won. It felt
yeah.
nice to win at shopping.
Totally. I
Yeah.
loved those places. And like,
Um,
agreed. A lot of times I wouldn't find stuff that fit me, but like, I would find jeans that like didn't really work, but I turned into a jean skirt,
right,
or
right.
like,
Yeah.
I don't
Really
know.
giant t-shirts and then I would cut the bottom off and make it a
Yeah.
crop top and be like, I
Boom.
did something today. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was cool.
And and it was cool because it was like it made sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, because it takes time and labor to go through things and sort them into sizes and stuff.
Right.
And they're like, well, we're not going to spend that money on that. We're just passing the savings on to you. You
Right.
go through it and you do it. Um, and there was this place in Greenpoint called the Dusty Rose. They like sold a lot to like film sets and stuff, but they also had regular sales, bin sales, where they would sell by the bag. So you could like bring a bag in and just like as much as you could stuff in there. It was like $5. So that I don't know if it's still, I think it went out of business, unfortunately, during the pandemic, which sucks. But
I feel like I can't name a single one of those places that used to do that that's still open. If you've got a good dollar a pound like thrift or vintage spot, whatever, tell me about it because I love the hunt.
yeah, it's fun. And now it's like a lot of vintage shopping is on Instagram, and that's not fun. I need to go
It's
back.
not.
I my friend Sandy recently told me about like how she goes to some estate sales around here, and I need to go back to estate sales because those are fun.
Yeah, estate sales are always like a really good time. Although I will say, the last time I went to an estate sale, there was, all the clothes that the deceased person had had. They were on one of those like portable racks.
Hmm.
And there was a nightgown that was covered in blood,
Oh,
like from the waist down. I feel like it was period blood or something. I don't think it was murder blood, I hope.
oh my God!
But
But
it
yeah,
was a sobering thing to find. I'm at the estate sale. It's a sunny day. I'm having a fun time picking through the dead lady's stuff. And then there's just like blood gown. That really put a damper on the day.
wow, yeah, no, that's a little intense. That shouldn't have happened. There's not typically blood-soaked items at an estate sale. There's like someone who's supposed to be in charge of
Curating.
organizing it and curating
Yeah.
it.
I mean, the what gets me is that somebody had taken the time to put this thing on like a hanger and stick it on the rack and like there were so many opportunities to say, "Huh, do you think this is too bloodstained?" But the guy was like, "Nah,
It's
someone's
go
gonna
for
want
it.
it. Someone's gonna want my mom's period nightgown."
Oh, man. I've never found a blood-soaked item at an estate sale.
I think
Generally, I
most
find
people have never found blood-soaked items at an estate sale. I was just unlucky that day.
Or lucky, depending on how you look at it.
Unlucky. I look at it as unlucky.
Okay, fair. I usually just find like very cool clip-on earrings. That-
Yeah.
That's that's what I find.
The
Good
elderly
costume
and their
jewelry.
clip-on earrings. Why
Yeah,
just get your ears pierced.
and I don't know. My nana had so many clip-on earrings, and
Yeah.
her ears were pierced.
Yeah,
But
mine did too. And like same, I think. I don't know what it is. They hurt.
I think, yeah, they do. They really hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they hurt when they put on and then you don't feel it for a while, but then when you take them off, they hurt
Yeah.
again.
You just
It's
have this
just
horrible pain in your earlobe that isn't there if you wear real earrings. Old ladies of this podcast, please get it together. Go to
stop.
Piercing Pagoda together, like Amber and I did. You'll have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. That's it. I just realized that I clip-on earrings are the same as nipple clamps. They
Oh,
hurt. They hurt when you put them on, then they stop hurting, and then they hurt when you take them off again.
yeah, I
I'm
don't like
sorry.
it, but you're right.
It is.
No,
It's
it's
true.
true. I'm sad now, but you're not wrong. I don't like
Maybe
thinking about people's grandmas nipple clamping their ears. I'm sorry if
that's
that makes me old fashioned, but I
that's what
don't.
I was gonna say is
I know, yeah.
maybe nanas were using
Okay.
them as clamps.
All right. Well, I gotta go. I have shawl business to attend to someplace else.
I'm sorry, I took off my shawl and now I'm all body.
No, mine is like falling off. This is the problem with a shawl. It's stupid.
That's kind of fun about them though. They're like all slinky. You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
a little bit of shoulder here, a little bit of something here. I don't know.
Well, you pretty much have to like stand all flirtatious when you're wearing a shawl just to keep it on. Like there's
Yeah.
no normal way to stand. This is an
Mhm.
anti-shawl podcast.
Okay, well, some of the other things that happened at the Oscars last night, they had a cocaine bear. They had a person dressed up as a bear going around doing bits.
So you're gonna say doing blow. I was like, well, that's an impressive commitment to the bit. Good for him.
I mean, that would have been amazing. Elizabeth
Mm.
Banks came out with him, and she had her voice was gone. Her voice was gone. Had clearly lost her voice, and she did not address it at all. And just her being next to Cocaine Bear, I was like, oh, that sounds like you had the drip. That sounds like
Yeah, it sounds like you and the bear were partying a little too hard, Elizabeth Banks.
yeah, be more careful the night
Yeah,
before the Academy
get
Awards.
it together a little bit, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, that then the cocaine bear was bothering Malala.
But Malala?
Yeah,
She
Malala
she
was there.
goes to the Oscars now? I mean, good for her.
Yeah, she was a producer for a documentary that was put up for an award, so she
Oh,
was there for that. I don't know the name of the documentary. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm a bad person. I don't watch documentaries.
I kind of don't either. They're boring.
They are.
It's
I
like the vast majority of life does not need to be documented for me.
Yeah. Although I am kind of curious about that Netflix Pornhub documentary.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard much of anything about it, but I'm interested in the subject matter, but I've also found that being interested in the subject matter really has no bearing on whether the documentary itself will be interesting. Most of them are not. You don't need to make a documentary. Go make a podcast like a normal person.
Yeah, or like create a law or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. If you're like really passionate about a subject, pass a bill.
that's a really good point. I'm going to go do that, I think, after this.
um I okay, so yeah, what was I going to say? Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
cocaine.
that no, that documentary I've heard is well, it's a classic documentary about sex work where they end up blaming sex work, like they use sex trafficking to attack sex workers in general. So that's fucked up.
Those
Um,
things are always made by like anti-trafficking organizations that are
mhm.
run by really clenched looking white ladies, and I'm just like I know I'm not supposed to even think this. I'm just 100% convinced that you caught your husband cheating on you with an escort, probably, and
Probably.
turned it into your politics. I know that can't be the case every single time, but they just look like women who get cheated on with hookers. I'm so sorry, ladies
They
of the
do.
world, but you got to stop looking like that and helming these swerf organizations. Like, you
Yeah.
can't do all those things and not have me think that about you.
Yeah. You're playing into the type. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. That's what,
sorry.
yeah. Don't adhere to those stereotypes if you don't want me to stereotype you.
Yeah, just like you don't, you wouldn't stereotype me as a stripper if not for X, Y, and Z things. I didn't have that thought all the way put together when I started reciting it. But I feel like my point is taken.
I
Like,
get it.
they're
I
the
get what you
worst
mean.
about that stuff. Those
Yeah.
bitches are
Yeah.
the worst. It's
They're so
always
bad
like,
at it.
I just want to help save, if I can save even one dumb hoe from trafficking. And I'm just like, get the fuck out of my face. Those ladies would come into the club, remember? The
Oh
the church
yeah.
ladies.
Yes. Yeah. Fuck. No.
Yeah.
Ah, they're
They always
they're the
brought
worst.
food. That was cool, but then the food came very much with strings attached. It was like how, you would have to sit through the timeshare presentation if you wanted the free lunch, except their timeshare presentation didn't even get you a timeshare. It was just
No,
like, hey, quit your job and come to Jesus. And I'd be like, no, thanks for the scone, I guess.
I'd rather go back to the house mom and get some Cheetos.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
She doesn't require me to go to Jesus.
Yeah, and quite the opposite, really.
No.
If I went to Jesus, I would be in trouble at
Yeah.
work. And that's great because I wasn't going to do it anyway.
That's good.
Yeah.
Um yeah, there also Jimmy Kimmel made a bunch of slap jokes, like a bunch of jokes about the slap to the point where it got kind of annoying and I really wished that someone would come up and slap him.
Will Smith should have done it. Yet again, I make my argument. There is no reason not to just let Will Smith slap people.
Yes.
That
Someone
guy's
else
not
that
funny either, Jimmy Kimmel. Like,
no,
why
he's
they
not.
keep trying to convince me that he's funny. He just
He's
isn't.
not. He's not. I'm so sorry. I don't
Yeah.
know.
He's a
He's
charisma hole. He's a
yeah.
Colin Robinson.
Yeah, I don't think he has it. I don't
Yeah.
know how he got his own show. I don't understand.
I feel like he gets drunk with the right people.
Mm,
He just has a vibe like he's fun to drink with. I'll give him that.
damn
He seems
it.
like a fun drinking buddy, but not any other kind of fun as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm. What are we gonna do now that we can't get drunk with people?
I can tell you what I do. Cry
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
Do a lot of crying.
But I mean like the thing that you do to have fun with people.
That's what I mean.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Crying.
how like when you were drunk you'd walk up to people and annoy them? I
Yes.
find I can accomplish much the same effect by walking up to people and just crying. They hate that just as much. So
Oh,
anyone
nice.
looking for a life hack, any newly sober people wondering how can I be as unbearable sober as I was when I was drunk? Cry a lot.
Nice. I like that hack.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I do cry, so I just need to do it in front of people now. I'm
Yeah,
more of an
at
alone
them,
crier.
ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
at them.
yeah, I also cry alone about how ever, but that's not what I'm talking about. You want to make like
Yeah.
kind of an embarrassing performance of it.
Okay. Yes. I like it.
Yeah.
Someone else you would have wanted to slap was Brendan Fraser. I'm sorry,
Damn, really?
but
I love him normally. I hate that
he's
he's doing what he's doing.
I love him too. I was happy to see him get an award. I hated the whale. I hated the whale. I found it to be hateful and mean, and I just didn't like it. But I like him.
Mm.
But he made so many whale puns in his speech, and you would have been so mad.
Oh, yeah, I do. I love Brendan Fraser. I hate puns, and that movie looked like something I would hate. So I feel like that's a 2 out of 3. I hate you now.
Yeah, I mean, he's good, and I'm sure nobody will care about this movie in like 3 years, so it'll be
Right.
fine.
Isn't
But
it
those,
incredible how that happens? How a movie just seems like the end all be all of all society for about a month, and then a year later, nobody remembers that it came out.
it's mostly like self-important, serious movies that tend to
Right.
have that arc, I feel like. And yeah, I no homework movies for me, please.
Yeah. I don't go to the movies and pay my money to sit in that seat to be bored and unhappy.
Yeah. Speaking of sitting in seats, I would love to go to the Oscars sometime.
Would
Uh,
you? It seems long.
it does seem long, but I don't know. Seeing people's dresses up close sound kind of fun. I don't
I like
know.
that part, but that only accounts for like 20 minutes of the whole multi-hour foodless situation. They don't let you eat in your seat, do they? Because I would have seen someone doing it.
No, they don't. There's like a buffet afterwards, but they don't let you eat in your seat. Uh, I have friends who were seat fillers. I'm going to ask her how it went. But I did think about the governor's ball and I was like, oh, I could go to the governor's ball afterwards. So it was very last minute, but I did first try to message Gavin Newsom on on Instagram, but he
You
doesn't
up?
take yeah. He doesn't take messages from accounts he doesn't follow.
So when you
So
say you tried, you mean you navigated to his profile and saw that he doesn't have
no,
open DMs and you were like, well, it's out of my hands.
no, it's weird. It's weird. Instagram does this weird thing where they'll have messages and like you can click on it and you do message, but then there's like a little note underneath it after you message that are
Oh,
like, this
yeah.
person doesn't take messages from new people or something. And I was like, oh, well, fuck you then. So then I went and found his email and I emailed him.
Hey, Gav, it's Amb.
How you doing? Hope
I
you're
was just
doing
checking
well.
in. Yeah.
I was just wondering if you have any extra space at the governor's ball.
I bet that he is like, I bet that generally politicians at that level know so many people that you could probably trick him into thinking you're someone he knows.
Oh, I'm sure I could say that I met him at something at some point.
Yeah, hey, it's Amber from the whatever event.
Yeah, yeah.
I had
I could
so much
just,
fun talking to you about the something that happened. I don't know. Maybe a
yeah.
little more work than that, but not a lot more.
I mean, I could stalk his social media to find out what event he's been at and what he's been talking about, and then put together a message that says exactly that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could easily do that, and I think I might in the future. I
yeah.
only thought of it the day of this time, so obviously
Mm.
I failed. But I just figured I'd send it because what if? And
It could have worked out, and it would have been really funny if it had worked
yeah,
out.
next time, next time I'll do it ahead of time. Or maybe
Yeah.
I'll work on like this year finding my degrees of separation from Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, there
Not a
can't be
fan,
that
but
many.
yeah, no. I'm sure someone. I'm sure it's like 4, right?
Try a stripper.
Yeah, probably.
Strippers are always the key connection.
Yeah, yeah. I know a few of them down here, so
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah,
you've got Newsom connections.
connections for
Yeah.
sure. Oh yeah, and then the other thing that happened at the Oscars that people were so mad about, and I totally get it, because what the fuck? So now, uh, like Disney owns AMC, so it was like a Disney owned operation event, and in the middle of the Oscars, they played a trailer for Little Mermaid. They just straight up played a commercial, like during the
Like
show.
it's the Super Bowl or some shit. Jesus God.
Not even like in a commercial break. It was like
Right. It was just at
presented.
the audience.
It was so weird. And we were like, what is happening? And it's kind of like, I mean, for lack of a better word, a slap in the face to the presenters. We were like, some of them were played off stage. Like they were not allowed to finish their speech, because the Oscars always go long.
Because of the commercial that needed to happen? That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. Pretty bad. Pretty dumb.
I kind
But
of love it. I hate it a lot. In most ways, I hate that a lot. But I just the self-important vibe of the Oscars every year is basically the reason I don't watch, cuz I want to
yeah,
see the dresses and I want to know who wins what, but it just goes on and on. It's so inflated and self-indulgent,
yeah,
and I hate everything about that commercial idea except that it was a kick in the sack to a bunch of really self-important people, and I'm not saying I'm in favor of it. I just think that that sack kick needs to be achieved at least once
yeah,
a year. If you're not going to let Will Smith slap people, you know.
yeah. So that was the slap in the face. That was the
Yeah.
one slap that happened.
It's a less
Um,
good slap to be sure, but I enjoy that a slap happened.
yeah. Um, anyway, I was like thinking about the Oscars and was, they were happening, and I was like, well, this is kind of an event. Like, what is going on with the history of the Oscars? Why do they happen? And I said to Matt, I was like, what if Rex and I talked about the Oscars? And he was like, actually, yes, because they
Because
they
I have
started
written on my note card here all the reasons.
yeah. They started as like a union busting event, and I was like, wait, what? So then I looked it up and I found this article by Vanity Fair that's called "The House That Mr. Mayor Built: Inside the Union Busting Birth of the Academy Awards" by David Thompson. It was written in 2014, and then there's a newer one that was written, I think, this year. Yeah. Uh, on Teen Vogue, The Oscars in Labor History, Union Busting is at the Root of the Ceremony, written by Sophie Hayson. So I was reading these two articles and like putting together what happened. And yeah, the history of the Oscars, not great. They're bad, it turns out.
They're bad for a lot of reasons, but
They're
I
bad
didn't
for a lot of
I did
reasons.
not know they were bad for that particular reason until you told me. Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1926, a man named Louis B. Mayer, he was the West Coast chief at Metro Goldwyn Mayer, MGM. And, he was once a poor kid in Russia. And then now in 1926, he was probably the highest salaried man in America. So, like, real come up. So he wanted a house in Santa Monica to reflect his status. And he didn't want to rent, he wanted to build a house. But he was told he would have to deal with architects and contractors and like spend a lot of time doing it. And he was like, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that idea. I'm a boss. I don't want to do that. And he said, when we need a set at the studio, we build it overnight.
Oh,
We need a,
shut up.
yeah.
God,
I know.
self-important always with
Yep.
these fucking people. Okay,
Yep.
overnight. Got it.
We need a big village. We build it in weeks. Don't be at the mercy of those contractors. Start with the architects. Oh, don't start with the architects. With us, it's business. It gets done. I will talk to the people at the studio, and if it can be done for the summer, we'll have a beach house.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, you little twerp. I want to give you a wedgie.
I hate you so much. Like, you're already the highest salaried man in America. Like, what more do you need? Why do you have to have everything? Calm down. But yeah, seems sketchy. So he then went to the head of design at the studio, Cedric Gibbons, and Cedric was like, yeah, sure. He drew up some plans, and the production manager, Joe Cohn, put a schedule together to have it built in 6 weeks. But like having it built in 6 weeks would take a lot of labor. They would need laborers working round the clock. They would need 3 different shifts of laborers. And that turned out to be a problem because the studios were like in the process of signing an agreement with the union that looked after the studio laborers. It ended up being known as the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Awesome. So
Oh god,
yeah, those guys
this
had
motherfucker.
those guys had like secure rates. They had overtime. So if he used those laborers to build that house, it would be super expensive. So instead, they used like a few skilled laborers and then they outsourced cheap labor, which meant Black people and Mexican immigrants. And then they built the house. They had it ready by spring. It was a palace. It was not up to code, but it was built.
So many, when I worked in construction, that was the case for so many rich people. If you go driving past like a beautiful mansion, it was 10 to 1 built by guys who don't know what the fuck they're doing at like 4 in the morning on a Sunday. There's like a jacuzzi in the basement. There's every manner of zoning regulation just being shot to shit. I don't know that I would want to live in a mansion for any number of reasons, but by
Mm-mm.
and large, because rich people are children and they
Mm-hmm.
insist on having everything built like now, now, now. They don't want to get permits. They don't want to make sure things are safe. They have the attention span of butterflies. They just want it now.
Yeah, I would feel unsafe. I would be like,
You would be unsafe.
what happens when there's an earthquake? Like
Yeah.
like studio sets are not meant to be lived in. They're
Yeah.
sets, they're very impermanent.
Yeah, that's why they go up so quickly, is because people don't actually have to live in them.
Yeah, they're cheap. They're not real. It's movie. It's movie magic. Anyway, um, when he had this experience, this it sort of worried him. He was like, "Oh shit, those workers are unionizing. What if like the other workers unionize? What if like the actors unionize? Like what's going to happen?" Um, that's
What
the
a
takeaway he had
bastard.
from this. He's an asshole. And so he was like, okay, we're going to create an organization that makes unions unnecessary. It's going to be a way of like settling disputes before they arise. It's going to be like an HR for Hollywood. Um,
How'd
yeah.
that go?
Uh, not great. Not great. I mean, luckily he failed essentially. Like this project failed. Hollywood is a union town. At there's like still people trying to fight it to this day, especially a lot right now. But they 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 did fail in general. But like they also like wanted to keep the wild and crazy actors kind of at bay, and they wanted to have like sort of a publicity department for Hollywood, keeping the stories out of the paper that like Charlie Chaplin liked oral sex, stuff like that.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah. They didn't really care that he slept with like an underage girl. They did
Right.
care that he liked oral sex.
Yeah, well, they had their priorities in order.
Yeah, absolutely. So they came up with this organization and they needed a name, and soon they came up with a name: Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
Shut the fuck up. I never thought until right this second how fucking stupid and pretentious that is. You make movies. Movies are fun. You can just be the fun time movie people. It's not that big a deal. Arts and sciences?
Where do sciences come into it?
Yeah, arts barely come into the
Barely.
mix. Arts are like hanging on by a thread. Sciences are not in the picture.
Sciences are not around at all, but they wanted it to be, like really like seem like it's been around forever.
Yeah,
Um,
and you know what? It does seem that way because I definitely never thought about how fucking stupid that is until just this second.
yeah. Um, yeah, Peter DeCurney, he's like a professor of cinema studies, and he's an author of Hollywood and the Cultural Elite. He was interviewed by Teen Vogue for this article, and he said the Academy promised this industry-wide body that could help set standards, and it never worked out that way. It was often dismissed as the studio heads union, so they saw through it pretty quickly. Um, so then they were like, okay, we're going to have a banquet. We're going to have membership. We're going to try to make this feel more elite and less like an organization to help everyone, but more like special. So then they decided to make the awards. They designed the awards, and that secretary was like, that looks like my Uncle Oscar. And that's how it became the Oscars,
Oh my
but it's the
god.
Academy Awards. Um, and they, yeah, that same guy, the, sorry, I wanted to bring up this one thing that he brought up. Oh, yeah. Detrony. He argues that the awards were designed so that talent would think of themselves as artists rather than laborers, thereby driving a wedge between them and technical union workers. He said, quote, that giving people awards shows that what they do is creative rather than labor. Also, it awards a few individuals rather than thinking about the much larger community of actors and writers. Most don't get awards or even get invited to the ceremony. And I I thought that was really poignant. Like
Yeah,
it
I
was a
agree.
clear attempt to like single out individuals, like you are special. the group at large is not special, but you individually are. And it feels like it still to this day is very much about the individual.
Yeah, I
Like,
was gonna say, like, that attitude really persists, like, even in those of us who are very much on the outside, like watching the show, right?
mm-hmm,
Even we get tricked into setting so much store by who gets an award and whether we think it was justified. And like my Twitter timeline today is almost entirely like really strongly worded takes on whether everything everywhere all at once should have won the best picture award, which it won.
mm-hmm.
And like, why did we let these people trick us into thinking it matters one way or the other? Like, the people who vote are the tiniest little subset of people who even saw the movie, and I'm sure it's much the same as like the way voting works for every other award, where it's all political, and you make your choice not based on whether it was your favorite movie that year, but based on whether it makes political sense to vote for it. And like, I really liked the movie very much, but it does not matter who wins best picture. I couldn't tell you who won best picture last year, and I saw most of the movies that were nominated last year. You don't remember. A week
Yeah.
after the Oscars are over, you forget everyone who won.
Yeah, they really have like succeeded in making the industry focus on who wins these stupid awards that are like chosen by the studio heads
Right.
basically. And it really is like creates this situation where the people making the movies are bending over backwards to please those studio heads when they don't need to. It like they should be working to create art that they love and not and good entertaining shit.
Yeah, I agree.
It shouldn't matter whether or not the studio likes it. But I think this like real like focus on like the individual is something that is perpetuated like throughout our society and really like is I don't know, I think maybe the most detrimental idea that we have out there right now, that like everything you need is in you as an individual. And you are an independent woman, like you can do it all yourself. And I just Lady Gaga said something like when she was about to sing the song that she wrote for Top Gun Maverick. Yep, yeah.
That's a ridiculous concept, but
I
go
know.
on.
She was like, she was talking about how like sometimes you need a hero, and sometimes you feel like sometimes you realize you can be your own hero. And I'm sorry, but that struck a chord that like hit a nerve with me. I was like, no, you
Right.
can't. You cannot be your own hero. Like you need the help of other people. That's the beauty of society. That's like what we should be leading more into and less into individualism, especially when it comes like it also kind of hit a nerve with me, I think, because of Top Gun and because like Tom Cruise is this movie star that continues to be able to be a movie star because he has so much individual power. Like he has um his own production company. He owned like 30% of the United Artists Studio. It doesn't exist anymore. It stopped existing in 2020. But like he did so much individually to like get this power, which was all had to do with money, as it always does in Hollywood. And like that makes me really angry. Like, why isn't there anyone anymore that's allowed to just have one job? Like, isn't there
Right.
anyone anymore who's allowed to just do like one piece of the puzzle?
Right. Yeah. And like, to do that really well and with a lot of care, and, to really focus on it over the course of several years.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I think you're right. There's this like incredibly fast trajectory that you're just expected to be on as a matter of course now if you're going to be a prominent working actor. Like, you are expected to want to direct, and the real money is in producing, so
Mm-hmm.
it is
That's the next.
expected that you're going to get into that. And it's impossible in writing too. Like, it's impossible really to just be a writer who writes books and get attention for writing really good books. Like, I would argue that most of the writers who you think you know because they write really good books, you actually know because they have a fancy agent and get a lot of publicity money thrown at them. And in
Yep.
reality, the writers who spend a lot of time like working on their craft and working on making really good books, you never really hear of because they just spend too much time on it. They don't spend the time on social media. They don't spend the time like pitching around to agents and editors and so forth. And I mean, I'm going off on a
Yeah.
tangent, but it's
No.
the fucking same in Hollywood.
No.
Like, it's the exact same.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the same with stand up and comedy too. Like everyone needs to produce their own show, host their own show, be, it's just not enough to just write your material. You also have to be on social media, you have to be a producer, you have to be editing tapes of yourself, you have to be like so many different things all at once when already a stand up is so many things all at once. Like it is already an actor, a writer, a performer. I mean, it is like
Right.
everything wrapped into one little closed little fancy little box, but still more and more you're expected to do more and more. And
And
I
it's
think
insulting.
it is, yeah.
It's insulting, this idea that, like, if you are good at stand up, it's not enough. You also need to be good at making stupid little TikTok videos because that is much more likely to be the thing that gets you a lot of attention from a lot of people than being good at the thing you want to be good at. And I know that that's like always been the case to varying degrees, but I just feel like there are so many more streams for it now. You know, like there are so many more areas where you're expected to spread yourself if you want to make anything.
Yeah. And it just like it reminds me of when I was in AA.
Mm,
and and got I learned about the idea of a higher power. I'm sorry, but I like was learning about it, and I talked to my sponsor about it, and I was like, so like I asked the stupid question. I was like, can you be your own higher power? Which is such like a girl boss like
yeah.
Yas thing to say.
I don't need some man like God.
And my sponsor told me, and I've told other people since then, this answer because I believe it's true. No, you can't be your own god. Are you kidding me? When you like relieve yourself of responsibility, when you like let that weight lift off of you, like it's supposed to be a weight lifted off of you
Mm,
onto something else. It can't be you can't lift a weight off of you onto you.
right.
Doesn't work. You can't also like lift trust off of yourself onto you. It has to be onto something else. That doesn't need to be like a man with a beard in the sky. It can be like a common one is God is stands for group of drunks. Um, like it could be
AA
just
is annoying. Oh
I
my
know,
God,
I
it's
know, I
always
know.
shit like that. Okay,
But it could be a
fine.
community. You're
Yeah,
relying on other
yeah,
people. You're creating a security net to catch you when you fall.
right.
You can't be your own security net. It's not possible.
And I think that like attitude is very similar to the attitude it takes to just like buckle down and brand yourself the way that people are expected to do. Like you come to expect that you are able to do everything. You make the TikToks, you write the jokes, you do the networking, you get on stage. Like none of this can ever be done for you. You
Hmm.
rely on yourself to do everything. And then if you fail, it can only be your fault. Like you stack up all these chips against yourself. And I think it's spot on to say like make other people do this stuff for you. Like this
Yeah.
used to be a lot of different people's jobs to make this stuff happen. There's a
Yeah.
reason that so few people break through, and it's not just that it's a numbers game, it's that most people aren't equally good at, for example, writing books and making TikToks. Like most people aren't equally good at writing books and writing for TV. Most people are really good at the one thing, and that should be okay. It should be fine to be good at something and then other people step in to fill in the gaps of stuff you can't do. That should have always been the expectation.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's, all goes back to capitalism is to blame. It's an
Yeah.
individual based system. So you can't, it's messed up. So I watch the Oscars. I engage in the discourse. I don't like them. I
Yeah.
think that they perpetuate the myth that your success is based on you as an individual.
Right. And tied to an award, too.
Yeah. Definitely. But, if anyone wants to give me an Oscar in the future, I'll still take it.
Yeah, please don't take any of this as evidence that we will not accept your awards. We would love to get an award. Prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong and have awards that change our lives, please.
Please. Sounds good. Anyway, that's all I had on the Oscars and the Academy Awards. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you want an extra episode every week, we have one on our Patreon. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/lowcultureboil. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at lowcultureboil. And we're here on YouTube at youtube.com/lowcultureboilpodcast. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.